Alright, what's up guys? It's Gary here, and we're about to go to this Slurpee meet that Otta's hosting up. And mainly this is going to be like a series that we're thinking of to do. So it's going to be talking about the owner and their car. And yeah, let's get right to it. Alright, so we just made it to the meet, and there's already a few cars here. I don't know if there's like, I think there's more cars coming, but we can just walk around and see what's around and go from there. Let's go.
Yeah. Wait, let me introduce Harry.
Okay, whoa. Okay.
No, we're just jumping straight in. No, we're not even skipping.
Yeah.
Just jumping straight into it.
All right. So sometimes there are people in your life that you fucking hate and they won't go away. This is not one of those guys, but I know him a long time. This is Harry Nguyen. I met Harry at a car show in it's not even 2000.
It had to be in the 90s.
Late 90s, mid 90s.
99, 2000
Yeah.
probably.
And Harry was campaigning at the time his Civic, and we were on different teams, I guess you call them now. Call them teams. Back then it was clubs. And you know, we would talk almost every weekend. I see him almost every weekend. And finally, Harry came to me and he was like, "Hey man, I really wanted you to do my Civic." I was like, "Yeah, no problem." He's like, "How much?" I was like, $1,000. $1,000 is a lot of money back in the day, and you know, I don't know if you know this, but your boy's slow. Okay. Anyway, so
yeah, so I learned that the hard way.
Right, you learned the hard way. But so my thing is when I do stuff, especially for my friends, I want to get their personalities in the trunk and whatever. So Harry, you know, at the time he didn't know the lesson. A lot of guys know by now. He would call and say, "Is my car done?" And I'd be like, no." It's like hang up on him, whatever. "My car done?" "No, dude, just stop, leave me alone." So now it came time for the car to be done. It was, the clock was over. You know, he was campaigning every week. We had the car for a month or something like that, and I didn't have a lot of progress. So I was like, man, let me get this car done. So in like 2 days, we put this car together. I called it the Spider-Man. It wasn't, well, he thinks it's terrible, but it wasn't what he was looking for. And, you know, he wasn't happy. So fast forward about 15, almost 20 years later.
20 years later.
And, you know, I reached out to Harry, and Harry had some stuff going on with one of our good vendors, Sony. Thank you, Sony, for all your support with us. And he had to deal with those guys, and I said, "Harry, let me do you a salad. Let me do your car." So, Harry, you can tell the rest of the story.
So what he actually said was he called me up, and you know I've been dealing at this time I've been dealing with Sony for I think like 2 or 3 cars that we've done already on my team. And so it was time to do my car, and Ada hit me up just at the right time, and you know he's like, "Hey man, you know, quote unquote, I fucked you on the Civic. Let me make it up to you." I said, "Sure." You know, I was about to go on vacation. I was like, I knew I learned my lesson. I knew he needed time. I was about to go on vacation, and I was like, "I'm gonna drop the car off to you. I'm gonna go on vacation, come back and pick it up." And he was like, "Bet." And you know, I want to say that the growth from when he did that to what he does now has definitely shown, because it's just clean. It's exactly what I was looking for. It was clean. I still have, you know, I always argue with it, not just Ada, any installer when it comes to like color options, and I'm just like, you know, Ada was like black, and I'm like, no,
we had to change it.
Yeah, I was like, you know, it needs some color to pop because the car's just too clean, so the trunk needs the color to pop. And so we actually brought it back a second time, and we did some new color options on it. But you know, lesson learned.
The Sony step and repeat.
Yeah, oh yeah. So
it was 2 different things after the fact that we had.
Yeah, so he got this laser, which to me was all brand new technology, and I was like, holy crap! Like, to see what he can do with this laser is just crazy. Like, if he had that back in the day, or if that was available back in the day, holy crap! Like how things would be different, you know. But
I think I was doing some pretty cutting edge stuff back then too. But
yeah, but obviously it took a lot longer, right?
Yeah.
Because you had to do all the pieces. Whereas as with laser, you just program it and shoot it out and cut it, right? So. And you know, and Ada's done a couple cars for me after my car. You know, after my guys see the work, they're like, "Who did that? Can they do my car?" You know, and so it's a great partnership that I have with Sony and Absolute Electronix and Ada, and you know, that's just
it's really with me and him. I mean,
yeah, I feel like it's 20 years worth of
20 years of
knowing each other and respect.
Knowing each other.
Yeah.
But there's respect and there's some creativity aspects to that. I have a lot of respect for Harry and the way he puts things together. And the cool thing about what like me and Harry can talk about is we can disagree on something and then have a cigarette and a beer. You know what I mean? It's
Bottle smoke.
obviously, but I can have a cigarette. But to see what he's done with a platform that's not supported by the aftermarket as heavily as the Civic was, it's just amazing. It's funny because the Civic relied on IS300 to like be part of what it was with the taillight conversion.
Yeah.
And then for his next big build to be an IS is funny.
Yeah. So to throw it all back, so my Civic, it was a 1995 Civic Coupe. The front end we chopped off. We used the JDM Integra front end, and then on the back, even before the Lexus IS300 came out in the US,
Right.
It was called the Altez in Japan. I called one of my army buddies that was in Japan, and he got the taillights from Toyota, and he shipped it to me. So I had these taillights, and then we had to find a body guy, and he did a taillight conversion onto the car, and so I basically had an IS300 rear end and the JDM Integra front end, and
One of the most unique cars in the scene.
yeah,
Unfortunately, the Absolute guys had to whoop up on it, but
it's okay.
I gotta say it because
it's all good
out of all
because-
of that, we've learned a lot.
But you know what? They all retired, and someone had to be number one, right?
Right,
So
right.
I mean, but granted, everything that I learned or I saw Ada do on the Civic that he was working on made me step up my game on that Civic, right? And then it's funny that you say that my next car would be IS,
yeah.
right? And so I was just to me, I think Lexus or Toyota is the grown man's Honda, right?
I think so. I
Right.
mean, I have a couple Toyotas myself, but
Yeah. But I mean, I love it, man. But the thing with this car was like, how do you make it different than everyone else? Because now everyone has replica parts, and so I'm glad to say everything on my car is authentic. You could probably build the same car for a fraction of the cost, but then when you look at the little details that are inside the car, like the titanium bolts, the ARC intake, the
Project Me brakes.
the Project Me brakes on all four corners.
right.
It's not
It's
just
not just the front.
not just the front, it's the back. Even my buddy Jason Pham, he does the graphics for me. I mean, we looked at it and we're like, how do we add more color? And to go off the teal from Project Me, he's like, let's do the teal stripe on the wheels, and then let's do the teal on your carbon lips, and then everything works out. Everything works out great, So, yeah, man,
So, I have a question. So, what's done in the trunk, like the trunk setup? What's in there?
So I got. Not that I don't.
Let me take this over for you. Let me take this over for you. So in Harry's trunk, he's got a really interesting setup. He's got Sony RSX. I'll just tell you the entire system from the beginning to the end. He uses a Sony RSX GS9 high resolution player in the front, playing back to a Sony XM DSP6. One for the right channel, one for the left channel, subwoofer, and the front high-end drivers.
So what that basically means is that each amp controls each side of the car.
Right.
Whereas typically you would have one amp that controls the entire car.
Right. So what we wanted to do was give this car, this is a show car for sure, but guy drives it. It's a Thursday night, and he's here with us hanging out, and it's not a short drive, so he wants to enjoy music. Harry, unfortunately, is a car stereo guy. He started car stereo. We all did, and he ended up with something a little unique. Now he also has Sony GS three-way front components, GS rear two-ways, and some tenant subs. All GS equipment in his car. It sounds phenomenal.
I was actually surprised when he threw this Sony stuff in. It just blew my mind. I was like, oh, how good it sounds. And he's actually telling me that it can sound better.
Yeah, we're gonna get some tuning in and make it sound better. There was a little bit of rush. We tuned it a little bit, but we need to sit down and get it going. So, shout out to my guys at Sony, Tazi, and you guys. Thank you for all your help. I appreciate it. And we got to thank
Rich. Yeah, Rich at Sony.
Rich at Sony as well. So, this is Harry. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
So when you